So my ultimate beef with this is that it wraps a woman's worth up in her ovaries.
Bottom line, if you're not paying my bills, you don't get to tell me what I do with my uterus. I think it's just really reckless to be suggesting that people should have children when you now know in this country there's this affordability crisis, and for a two-person household, a married household, you need over $400,000 for childcare. Over $400,000. Most people don't make over $400,000. So she's advocating for people to be born into poverty, people not being able to feed those children, people not being able to educate those children, and people not being able to house those children.
So you heard it.
Yes, Sunny Hostin is being called out on social media after saying this. It is reckless to have children. When you look through all media space, everybody is talking about this clip. Before we go into the full analysis, take a look at what this guy had to say on Fox News.
If you're not encouraging your children to grow up and have the courage to get married and have kids, more kids than they can afford before they think they're ready, it is high time to start. It is these choices, like deleting our dating apps and quitting birth control pills and saying I do at the altar, that ultimately trickle down into the political policies that we will see save our country.
Okay. I heard it from The View. Only rich people can have kids.
Yes.
That's
She has kids.
It's the most elitist thing I've ever heard. And by the way, this isn't just some one-off from these crazy ladies on The View. You could go to Katie Porter, who's running for governor in California, where she, I've seen the clip multiple times, where she said, you know, there's an affordability problem. We have an inflation problem. That's why we need abortion. Right. And then you saw Tim Scott.
And she has kids, too.
And she has kids, too. And then you saw Senator Tim Scott come out and go, thank God my mom, who was poor and single and didn't think that I should be aborted just because, you know, it might be a little bit tough on us.
Tim Tebow?
Yeah, Tim Tebow. Yeah, you name it.
But also, what is Anna Navarro doing? She spent decades in the Republican Party. This is not some fringe message. We have been the pro-family party for years now. That's right. For decades. It's like, were you faking it the entire time? I mean, I do think it's kind of disgusting, too, especially since my mom had me so young.
I know.
The struggle was real, and her and my dad had to miss some things so they can provide for us. But it all worked out at the end of the day. So, I mean, telling people just because they're poor that they can't have fulfillment in life, and Brian and Ainsley, Rachel, y'all all tell me all the time that I won't have true joy until I have kids. Because you realize life, you're bringing into life something bigger than yourself.
Yes, you might have not seen the clip. I'm going to play that. You should see exactly why Sunny Hostin did this. When you take a look at this, Sunny Hostin said it is reckless for consecutive to encourage people to have children. I think it is really reckless to be suggesting that people should have children. She's advocating for people born into poverty. If you think children are reckless, you have already lost the future. The best ideas come from people who have worked their way up. It is not the rich who need to think outside the box. This is causing a lot of issues in the consecutive media space. I've seen people calling out Sunny Hostin after this. I don't know. If you love what I'm doing here, please check if your notification is on and subscribe if this is your first time coming to this channel.
Trickle down into the political policies that we will see save our country.
Okay. I just want to say, years ago, they used to come after women of color and accuse women of color of doing this very thing. Wow. And that's why they continue to cut all these programs and erase all these things.
Childcare programs?
Childcare name it, name it. And now, had I known that it turns out we are all just one group of women. We're just one group. I mean, because what is she, what?
So my ultimate beef with this is that it wraps a woman's worth up in her ovaries in a way that for too long has happened. The whole women's movement was not about bucking the trend of staying at home or loving tradition. It was giving women a choice to do what they wanted. And that's what this is too. Marriage, children. It's a choice. And by the way,
but be responsible for God's
No, but be responsible. But the other thing is they act like people are sitting around just saying, yeah, no, I'm good. Most women I know, and some don't, but most women wanted to have children. They don't have them for other reasons. Yeah. Most women I know, if they had a great candidate or partner, might want to be married. Maybe they don't. The fact that we keep putting this on women, that their only worth in society, politics, policies, is if they produce a baby or have a husband, is the stupidest, most old-fashioned thing. We have come too far. The world has over 8 billion people. Yeah. We no longer need to force people to procreate and pump out babies. We have arrived here. Women now and girls now have a choice.
But also,
let them do that.
Where is the call to responsibility for the men who help make these children, right? I don't know.
Yes, this is actually insane. If you are a woman and want to be depressed, watch The View. That is a simple truth. If you take a look at these graphs, young liberal women are subsequently more mentally unaware than any other demographic because they have listened to women like this. Over 50% of liberal women between the ages of 18 and 29 have been diagnosed with mental condition. Because of this kind of people, when you look deep into what they are struggling to argue here, it's insane. Yes, someone immediately responded, speaking of reckless, this is coming from a woman who left her child in a hot car. She definitely should not have had children, nor should those who are like her. You know, the simple truth is this. There is nothing a conservative person will sit and say these people will support. They will always contradict you. At some point, Whoopi claims this is what they used to accuse women of color of doing. I don't know. I don't want to go into that. It is obvious to me that The View will obviously do this.
That we need to teach our kids to have the courage to get married. If your marriage requires courage, I have a lot of questions about your husband. We need to tell this woman about LegalZoom and how easy it is to get out of it.
Do remember, these are the same people that support Donald Trump.
But I mean, look,
that does take really reckless to be suggesting that people should have children when you now know in this country there's this affordability crisis, and for a 2-person household, a married household, you need over $400,000 for childcare. Over $400,000. Most people don't make over $400,000. So she's advocating for people to be born into poverty, people not being able to feed those children, people not being able to educate those children, and people not being able to house those children at the same time when this government is cutting all of the services that would allow people to have families and big families.
And let's not forget
$400,000.
I want to appreciate people sharing out the videos. God bless you abundantly. As of the short clips, that is for the white algorithm. You can always skip.
As well as there being just many New Yorkers and people from all over the country here.
Us to show up. I think it's important for us to show up in New York. Kings in Austin, Texas. I want to show you.
They're just hard. What is this? My 600-pound?
Yeah, and you're right. Every day is something new.
That Trump laid in the State of the Union address.
To get here. Trump! Go Trump! Hey, Murphy, you're scumbag. Thanks, man.
Our chamber is chanting USA. Philip.
He utilized almost like these game show type moments where you're seeing awards being presented.
They're just so... and did not shake her hand there.
Here's the video. He shook everyone's hand. Everyone. Here's the Chief Justice. All of them got their hands shaken. To the point where they had to come back on the air and say this in stop 33.
But we should point out as he walks in, he's pretty close to the justices again as he comes.
Other than illegal on either of those two, I think they took his bait. Can take away from the joyous moment as all Americans. And why are they putting a medal?
Oh, he's already under scrutiny for 1,000 reasons. Carol Patel posted this on X.
Job. I get suspicious when any
person's home, it's very easy to.
This is for the people in the United States who are terrorized and scared today.
The country's in such emotional turmoil.
And Republicans on both sides, you're
so amazing. And wasn't it so great?
When it can be hard to hope.
Hey, girl. Fantastic to watch.
Yeah.
I was just so thrilled to see. I mean, oh, you can't see it there, but it's there.
Yeah.
But the amount of people just all over the country